Hi everyone. Alright, okay, today we're going to talk a little bit about examinations. So the different video to talk about how to prepare for exam in mathematics and sciences, there's actually a video for that already. So in this video, I'm going to focus on talking about some of the things that you might or might not be doing and why they are correct or why they are wrong, or maybe how to make the best out of it before it can actually turn into something that's useful to you. So when you're preparing for examination, I think as a student, I was a student before, so I actually went through this entire process. I actually do all the things that you have been doing now, and exactly whether it works or not. So now I'm actually here to share with you, okay, through my experience. Of course, everybody is different, so it might work for me, might not work for you, as well as something that works for you might not work for me as well. But I think through some of the observations that I made, I will be able to share some of the things that you might not have realized, because when you're in the midst of it, you might not be really thinking. You just feel that everybody is doing it. I also likewise must be doing it. Okay, so this very first thing that I often see people doing, and I myself, I've done that before, is called studying with a group of friends. And the question is it necessarily more effective to do so? So I would say that this is a good thing, because I would say different people might have been able to understood the same thing differently, and also maybe understand different part of the thing. So when you come together, it's like a collective effort where everybody can do sharing. Oh, this part I remember is like that. That part I remember is like that. So on and so forth. So when you come together, actually you can gather more wisdom, and you'll be able to understand the thing that you need to understand faster. But one of the things that a lot of people do when they come together and study is, okay, today where are we going? Okay, let's go to the library. So library, especially when you go there, is really effort of everybody. Just sit down, do your own work, and then after which, then you go off to somewhere else. Or maybe you go to a cafe, sit down and do your own work, then after that you go back. However, the thing is that then you are actually missing out on the point of group study. Group study is only effective if, let's say, you have previously prepared content to talk about. So a discussion is more effective as compared to you just going together. Okay, 5 of us sit down on the same table, and then you do your own work, I do my own work. Then after that, when it's lunchtime, we go for lunch together. Then I would say that is only effective as a form of companionship for your long study period. But the thing is that it's not effective if you want to gain more knowledge out of it. So I would say that you can have a bit of those kind of sessions, but if every session is like that, you might not find it effective after that. Yeah, because you are basically just do your own work. Then the collective effort that you can draw upon with the wisdom from everyone will not be able to get so. So I would say that think through what exactly you want to study. Okay, think about the questions that you normally will have. Then you table it during the discussion to talk about it. Do not just sit down and do your own work. I find that it's not very effective. Okay, second thing will be, I will write more revision notes, especially you're studying for a science paper. I write a lot more revision notes and hoping that I can remember the facts better. So this is a yes and no thing, because the more repetition, the more you write, definitely you remember it more. But the thing is that it will not train you in your thought process as well as your connection between the content. So I don't think that will work if, let's say, you are just doing that. Especially if, let's say, you are talking about facts, we will easily forget about them when we don't apply them to a question. So I would say it's a to and fro process of going through the content, then after that you practice, then you go back to the content again and look at it, and then you go back to the question again. Honestly speaking, throughout my so many years of as a student and as a teacher, right, every time I look at the same content, I might actually get different understanding from it. In fact, I would say that as a teacher, I understand the content a lot more as compared to in the past when I was a student. Not because I'm actually older, it's because that whenever I relook at the content again, I got a different understanding. So it's really very amazing. Things that I couldn't understand in the past, right now when I start talking about it a lot more, I start to realize that, actually I understood it better now. So yeah, and of course, the second thing that I will do is that I will look at different content, different textbook to gather collective wisdom again. So you might actually find that, actually there's a different way of looking at it. Yeah, so I would say that don't just write down. Okay, you might want to do a bit of to and fro. Okay, look at it, apply, then come back to the content again, look at it again, then apply again. Let's see whether there will be something different. Okay, and of course the next thing will be, right, burning midnight oil and adjusting back the day before the exam. So this one, I'm quite sure at least 90% of you are doing that. So what I'm saying is that you are really just studying into late night, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Last time when I was in the university, I recall that basically people don't sleep. They just keep working on the questions and so on and so forth to pass your paper. Then they say that, oh, because the paper is in the morning, I will just need to adjust back the day before, which is wrong, because the thing is that you might have realized by now that almost 90% of the paper will be in the morning. So are you really sure that you want to do this adjustment only the day before? Even the 2 days before might not be enough, because your body might already adjusted to being very alert at night. So when you do a morning paper, you find that you're not as alert. In fact, it will actually affect your paper itself. So I will not say that you want to be doing this midnight study all the way. Maybe only 1 or 2 nights, but however, it should consistently be making sure that the study is the most effective in the morning. So meaning to say that maybe your study session should be in the morning rather than in the evening or at night. Because if you don't do it in the morning, when it comes to the actual paper, you are not so used to being very alert in the morning. Yeah, of course there are some papers that's in the afternoon, but there isn't really just that many. Mostly are still going to be in the morning. So make sure you are alert in the morning, not in the evening or nighttime. And of course, the next thing that you might be doing will be, I will always go for the subject that I'm most interested in. So my favorite subject first, and then after that, I'll pick up momentum from that. So this is also something that a lot of people will do, but not necessarily will work. Yes, because once you get the hang of it, you will be able to go on a few more days and keep going through the content again. But the danger is this. If you keep doing that, you might actually really just be doing that. So for instance, you like mathematics better. So maybe I plan for the first 2 days I will do mathematics, the next 3 days I will do sciences. Trust me, by the time you reach the end of the second day, you will say that why not we do another day of mathematics? Because I really don't want to do science. I hate science. So then you will just be doing mathematics all the way. Or in the other way is that maybe you hate mathematics, you like sciences better. I just do sciences, or I just do humanity. So whatever you start out with, you basically will stick throughout, and then you won't want to touch the other side already, because it's always more painful to look at what you are weaker in. So I would say to trick yourself into thinking that you are really studying, right? I would say that maybe don't just keep doing it every day for the mathematics or sciences, even if you like it. Maybe you want to weave in a little bit of content on a daily basis to just get you started on something, because it's about building momentum. If you never start it, then you will never be able to study at all. So you might not want to just keep going through the favorite topic or favorite subject for that matter, because you will really just be doing that, because we are all human. That's why I know that. Yeah. So you will keep procrastinating the least favorite subject, and then you will never get to do it. Okay, and of course the last point to take note is that does it necessarily means that if I go for a longer session, usually I can digest more content and so on and so forth. This is also a personal experience for myself. So sometimes when I study in the past, right, I will go out and tell myself that I'm not going back home, because I know I go back home I will be doing other things. So I will be spending the entire day outside. I'll be hopping from cafe to cafe, okay, library, cafe to have a change of environment. Then after that, I'll meet different group of people to do my study. So my entire session is basically the entire day. But what I noticed is that towards the end of the day, I basically is really just like finding places for food, and then after that, or for a cup of coffee, like maybe I go Starbucks. But I'm not really studying. In fact, I think towards the end of the day, I spend more time talking to my friends than to study. So you will find that you will sidetrack very quickly. Meaning to say that if that is really going to happen, why not you plan into your schedule? Maybe in between you have sessions where an hour or half an hour, right, to do the break, and then you go back to it again. But once again, be careful, because if the break is too long, basically you might not go back to it anymore as well. So you might want to plan a 30 to 45 minute lunch break. Then after that, you go back to do your study. And then after that, maybe you can have a short 5-10 minute toilet break, or maybe just to chit chat with your friend. Then after that, you look at the time, you go back to it again. Because if you do not have breaks in between, honestly, nobody can withstand that long 4-5 hour session without having any break. Or you think you are working on the topic or the subject, but you might not really be doing it because you have already lost the momentum or you're too tired. Nothing is going in. You are just reading through pages after pages, but nothing is going through. Yeah. Okay, so this is the sharing from my own personal experience. I find that this is the things that I hope someone were there to tell me, but in the past there wasn't, because we are all a group of students and no teacher had better wisdom or had the time to actually share with us things like this, right? So I would think that it is important that I'm doing this sharing now, since everybody should be preparing for their examination. Do not get physical exhaustion or mental exhaustion. If you find, okay, last point will be, if you find that it's not going in already, take a step back. It's entirely okay to have a half a day or even up to 1 day of break. No one can actually be studying all the way, because if nothing is going in, even if I give it another day, you are simply just wasting your time. So don't do that. Okay, so with that, that will be the end of my sharing for my exam tips. This is really from personal experience and some observations of my students in the past, and I'm here to share with you, hoping that you don't commit the same mistake as well. Okay, if you like the video, help me to share with your friends as well as subscribe to my channel. Alright, thank you very much. I will see you again in the next video.